570 WNAX.
And a good afternoon. Welcome back to your afternoon 5-State Farm Report. Danielle Drotzman, your host here for 570 WNAX. Thanks for tuning in. So as we kick off your program here today, we have a special guest with us that we're excited to get on and visit with. So Amy France, she is the board chair of the National Sorghum Producers. So Amy, thank you for joining us here on WNAX. And how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's good to visit with you again.
Absolutely. We're excited to get you on and kind of get an update on the crop and I guess what you are working on there at the National Sorghum Producers. So first off, home for you is Kansas. So since we last talked, how has the crop been looking? Any condition or progress, or kind of give us an update there?
You bet. So I'm western Kansas, about 90 miles from the Colorado border, just to put it in perspective. Before, when we were off air, we were talking about how hot. So we've been triple digits out here in western Kansas for far too many days. So we also really need a drink. Overall, the crop is looking fairly good. We did have some replant. I said it's crazy. We turned half of our wheat acres in for drought and then had to replant half our fall crops for flooding. So, nothing can ever be truly predicted in farm world.
No, it can't. Nothing really ever goes the way you plan it, for sure. So with that being said, you guys maybe have been getting some rain then, or I guess things have been, as far as condition-wise, they've been looking good?
Yes and no. So we got about 12 inches, one day. So that's what caused our replanting. And then you go about 20 miles west of some of our farm ground, and it doesn't look good at all. So it's been pretty spotty. We have got some moisture, and other spots haven't had a drip. So it's across the board. I would say overall we look okay for the lack of moisture, but then with some, it's kind of hard to describe. But I know your listeners probably understand it well. But overall, I think the crop is looking okay. And then the crazy part is we have South Dakota to South Texas, so they already wrapped up their harvest. And for the most part, overall, good harvest down there. So a wide variety spread across our members.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of seems to be the common theme this year, especially here in, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa. Just everything seems to be pretty spotty. And, some stuff looks really good. Some places aren't so good. So, I guess that's just the common theme this year. But, with that, I guess we can just highlight that one of the highlights of sorghum, I guess, is it is a drought-tolerant crop. So if you're ever in a place that kind of gets less moisture, throughout the year, that's one of the benefits of sorghum.
It really is. The drought tolerant and water sipping. So when we are in those climates, as you said, it is one of the crops that comes to the surface is still being able to produce in very difficult climate. But again, we all still need a drink, but it does produce when others just can't make it without that drink.
Mm-hmm. And, we a lot of times see sorghum planted more in our southern states by our southern neighbors. But, in South Dakota particularly, that industry is growing, as I've been told, I think.
Yeah, it has. South Dakota has certainly developed a meaningful sorghum footprint. And so we, in fact, about 20% up from 2025. We are still below where we sat 2024 in production. So maybe a rebound rather than growth, but excited to see that. And, Danielle, I think when we visited before, I highlighted we're very well aware that some of the major barriers for South Dakota growth is the long-term basis, access to nearby buyers. So farmers need more reliable local demand and competitive bids for that, those acres to grow consistently. So we're very much aware of that and have been working on that front for our members up there, but hope to continue to grow that and very excited about what the growth has been that we've seen.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely need a place to go with the product when you have it. So that's definitely a very important factor when you're talking about, growing something. So I guess with that, the National Sorghum Board, I mean, what has kind of been keeping you guys busy this summer? And I mean, what have you guys been working on?
Yeah, it has been a pretty busy summer. We have been on the run for quite some time and really trying to build demand while addressing costs and risks. So our major priorities include permanent year-round 15. We're also still waiting on that 45Z guidance. Obviously, the export markets, we're continue to push on fertilizer competition, farm assistance. So those things we continue to push, not to mention we still need a farm bill passed. So there are a lot of things that we have been pushing simultaneously to get some results and actually have those tools that reflect how farmers can actually market sorghum. So it's been pretty busy. There's days I feel like we make headway and then, a headline comes out and we're trying to fix another problem. But nonetheless, we continue to persevere and stick through it, and hopefully we can see some progress soon.
Absolutely. Definitely keep working at it. So I know, like you mentioned, E15 has been just top of mind for a lot of organizations because it just will bring tremendous value to our grain products. But, besides E15, is there a lot of other domestic opportunities for sorghum or domestic demand there? I guess, do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, like you said, ethanol certainly stands out. But, feedstock remains a foundational market for us. We continue to see opportunities in the gluten-free foods and food ingredients, so human consumption, not to mention our pet food. The human consumption part has been tremendous. We've really had a lot of people note we're non-GMO, we're gluten-free, as well as some health benefits from consuming sorghum. So there is a study going on right now, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, that is really going to be able to highlight that and prove what we've been seeing for many years, and really in the health food space. So excited to see that. But yes, you named it. We're trying to make sure we're diversified in our domestic market as well.
Absolutely. And I guess, do you do a lot of international trade too? Do you have a lot of big markets for sorghum internationally?
We absolutely do. So China is anywhere from 60 to 80% of our export market. And so although we have seen a decline, China accounts for approximately 74% of the exports from September to May. So we've seen an uptick in that. That relationship remains extremely important. Mexico and Japan are also established customers, and we continue to develop long-term relationships with India and other markets. I think we probably discussed we had been in India not too long ago, have continued to have that on the radar. Our groups have worked tirelessly in India for a number of years to develop those relationships. So we're hoping for an open door there. But ultimately, our goal is really to serve our core customers, and maintaining China, where we've had people on the ground in China all summer long. And what we've learned and we continue to hear is they want U.S. grown sorghum. It's the best, bar none, and we've established some tremendous relationships and friendships with those buyers too. So continue to work on that and diversifying the demand. So when China's not working, we can pivot, say, to India or Japan or another country. So international relations is huge for another avenue of marketing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we definitely do have a great U.S. product, and, our farmers should definitely be proud of that. So I guess we are kind of coming up here to the end of our time. So you will actually be in the area here within the next couple of weeks. So tell us about that.
Yes, looking forward to it. This will be my first trip to South Dakota as chair. I'll be at the Midwest Agricultural Export Summit in Sioux Falls, and that's August 12th. So fortunate enough to join some other incredible people on a panel that day. I know we're going to meet with some of our producers while we're up in the area, so look forward to that. And if any of your listeners are there, I would love to meet them, and just excited to get up to South Dakota.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited. South Dakota's probably excited to have you too. So I guess, Amy, thank you for joining us here today on the Afternoon 5 State Farm Report. It's always a pleasure to get you on and visit with you. So we'll maybe meet you next week or when you're in South Dakota. But other than that, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Danielle. I appreciate it very much.
Perfect. All right. Again, that's Amy France. She's board chair of the National Sorghum Producers, joining us here today on your program. So with that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll take a look at your markets here at the bottom of the hour.
At WNAX, we know sometimes